Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Weapons. This movie is directed by Zach Kreger, who previously directed Barbarians. This movie stars Julie Garner and Josh Brolin. Now, the plot of this movie is about 17 children go missing on the same night at the same time. And when it's revealed that all of these children were in the same classroom, the community, including the teachers and the parents, go to investigate. Some of them place blame on the teacher of that classroom, Justin Gandy, played by Julie Gardner. Now, going into this movie, I was really intrigued because I thought Barbarian was very original. It was, a horror movie that had some comedy to it, and it was one of those movies like Annihilation and probably even Ex Machina before that, where it was a conversation movie. It was a movie that was so different that people were talking about it. And when I saw the trailer to this movie, I was like, okay, so this feels like Gone Girl meets Prisoners, where I thought the whole movie was going to be about, an introduction to the teachers, the parents, these children, and then halfway through the movie they go missing, and then the last half is them trying to investigate what happened. Well, we didn't get that with this movie, and that's okay. The storytelling in this movie is very unique, which I'll get into. Now, instead of us getting an introduction to these characters and then them go missing, so we, kind of get to know who they are, instead, the movie starts out with narration from a school child telling this story about all the kids that went missing, which is interesting, and I'll get into that as well. Now, let me start with the acting in this movie. The acting from everybody involved, every character, from, an off-screen character you never see to the main focus of the movie, everyone did a really good job. Julie Garner as the teacher of this classroom, a woman who has her own issues outside of what happened. She's really good, and I'm really glad that Julie Garner, exploded on the scene in Ozark, and she's been acting ever since, because she's really talented. Now, I did like that, as a teacher who wanted answers just as bad as some of these parents did, she did her own investigation in the movie, as did Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin's really good in this movie. He plays, kind of an angry jerk really well, but he's playing a parent whose child has gone missing unexplained, and he wants to place blame on certain people. And so his character doesn't arc as much as I would have wanted to, but his character does have some, investigating and detective work that he does in his own, which is really the only detective work we get to see in the entire movie. Not even from the police do we get to see this type of questioning and discovery and examination of things as well. And then, aside from those two characters, you also have Benedict Wong, who plays the principal of the school. He does a good job. He's the one that kind of doesn't really step on anybody's toes, who kind of does everything by the book. He's like the nicest character in the movie. And then you have Alden Ehrenreich as a policeman in the movie. He's the probably meanest character in the movie because his character is not likable. His character was a lot like Justin Long in Barbarian, where you're like, this guy is a jerk, and I hope something, slaps some sense into him. And then you have another character, I forget his name, but he plays a drug addict in the movie. Certain characters I felt the story should have focused on more, while others we've done without. The way the structure is set up is a character will be introduced by name, almost like a chapter. And it'll follow that character for a little while, briefly showing other characters that they'll get to later. And then once the intensity or once something exciting happens, then it goes to another character, kind of starts off the story in the same area, and then again, once something intense happens or exciting, then it jumps to another character. Eventually, they all come to a head, and it shows you what each character saw, what they experienced, what event made them cross paths with one another. Aside from the storytelling aspect of this movie, the film does a really good job of combining horror and just unexplained, unpredictable elements with incredible music that keeps you on the edge of your seat. This movie is done as if it were real. you have these characters acting like a real life crime had happened, and because you don't know who's involved, who's responsible at all, you don't know what's going to come next. And so every time a new layer is revealed, every time something is explored or explained, you're on the edge of your seat, because just like those characters, you don't know what's going to happen next, and you don't know what to expect. But the movie also did a really neat job of combining horror with comedy. There are a couple moments in this movie, including characters' reactions to things, including a dream or a character running through a convenience store where the cashier goes, "Get out of my store," and then the character goes, "Well, help me." Stuff like that seems like it's set in real life. Also, the music sets the tone and the atmosphere for this movie very well, including sound effects and just simple visuals. Like, a door has never seemed scarier and creepier than just it being the dead of night, the door opens, and the character walks out. No sound. But then there's another scene, I will just say, where a character is in a vehicle and you hear a door open where you're like, oh no. That moment in the movie, you'll know it when you see it, got quite a reaction in my theater. This is also a good movie where audience members will definitely yell and laugh and talk to the screen, because some characters are smart and they're intelligent and they cover their bases. But other characters, you're like, why would you do that? Also, this movie, I wouldn't say is a horror movie until probably the third act of the film. I would say this is more like a thriller and a mystery movie, because just like Gone Girl and Prisoners, it's set in the realm of believability in real life until certain elements are introduced into the movie and certain characters are introduced. Then you're like, okay, so now there's this aspect of the movie. It has me more engaged, but this could either make or break the movie. Also, when the trailer for this movie came out, they did a really smart job of omitting two characters, should I say, from the trailer. For instance, the scene where it shows Justine Candy's character of the teacher in the classroom, and the camera starts on one side and is panning around her. I like how they cut that scene when they did, because again, it omits certain things from this movie in the trailer, which adds to the suspense and the mystery. I would also say this movie is a lot like Longlegs, where you have this character that immediately, as soon as they come on screen, you do not trust them. And then you're at the edge of your seat because you don't know what they're going to say next, or what they're going to do, or what their role is in this story. Now, I will say some issues that I had with the movie, aside from spending too much time on certain characters that really didn't interact with too many people except for like one or another one briefly, I would say that the biggest issue for me was that the reason of why this happened and what happened to them as a result wasn't explained. And I get you're trying to build this story with this intrigue and this mystery, but I felt once the last character was introduced, the movie spent so much time depicting this really just sorrowful and just sad, depressing lifestyle this character has to endure, instead of focusing on the main thing as to why did this happen to the children. They give you explanations as to what happened, but to me, an explanation of why is just as, if not more, important. Now, maybe if they make more movies or they make other things eventually, like deleted scenes or what have you, maybe that might be explained. But I kind of felt that the whole purpose of the movie, the poster, the trailer, everything needs to have an explanation. Now, because this movie was very suspenseful, the acting was very good, and this movie definitely was unpredictable and kept you on the edge of your seat, I really liked it. However, the main reason for things to happening, like I said, weapons. Aside from a dream sequence, it kind of has you questioning why they were called that. Now, because of that, I'm going to give Weapons a B. The acting is really good, and like I said, if you want a movie to talk to your friends, your peers, coworkers, family, this is definitely a movie to check out. But there are some violent scenes, so it's not for the faint of heart. So until next time, guys, see ya.